Hey y'all, it's your friendly neighborhood therapist. And listen, I went live right after halftime of the Super Bowl tonight. So it took me a minute to kind of settle in and get on here and react to the halftime performance. So before we get into the actual halftime performance, I need to say a couple of things. One, John Batiste did the national anthem. New Orleans native, phenomenal pianist, and just a overall genius level musician. I saw someone comment and say that they didn't care for his performance too much because they are tired of people making the national anthem their own and changing it when it should be just done the right way. Let me give y'all a bit of history. The national anthem was a poem. It was never meant to be a song. People decided to add music to it. Therefore, there is no right way. Plenty of people have made the national anthem their own. What I think that person really wanted to say was that they wanted it done the white way. I just wanted to make that a point because it pissed me off. He did phenomenal. That's it, and that's all. Now, also, before I get into Kendrick's actual performance, because it was phenomenal, I just gotta say two things. One, it is bothering me the number of people who really still are saying they don't know how Kendrick got selected. Like he's not big enough for the Super Bowl stage. Let me tell y'all real quick who Kendrick Lamar is, just in case you weren't aware. Okay. And yes, I am a Kendrick Lamar fan. I can handle valid critique of Kendrick. In fact, I had a couple of minor critiques about tonight myself, but some of y'all just hate him and that's it. And you can say that. Just like he hate Drake, you can hate him. That's okay. That's cool. You can dislike Kendrick. So much so that nothing he ever does is going to be good enough for you. You're going to have a problem with whatever he does. But be real about that. Like stand 10 toes down in that. Don't try to make it some type of think piece about why it wasn't good enough. You just don't like him. It's okay. It really is. Nonetheless, there are some people, though, it's not that they don't like him, I don't think. They just really don't understand who he is and what he has accomplished. So let me just tell y'all real quick, okay? I got the information pulled up because I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss any points. So, of course, everyone knows he was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for Music in 2018, becoming the first musician outside of classical and jazz genres to even receive the honor, right? Like a Pulitzer Prize ain't no joke. But all right, his albums have become coursework in colleges. Okay, just like Beyonce's Lemonade and stuff, because we're not going to ignore the fact that what Kendrick does is very similar, if not the same thing that Beyonce does when it comes to blackness and being unapologetically black and putting that shit in their performances and being intentional and calculating about it. So, okay. Anyway, so his 2012 album Good Kid, Mad City became the longest charting hip hop studio album in Billboard 200's chart history. This man has 22 Grammy Awards, the third most won by any rapper, a Primetime Emmy Award, a Brit Award, 4 American Music Awards, 6 Billboard Music Awards, 11 MTV Video Music Awards, including 2 for Video of the Year, 37 BET Hip Hop Awards, the most won by any artist. Time listed him as one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2016. 2 of his concert tours, the Damn Tour from 2017 and the Big Steppers Tour from 2022, are amongst the highest grossing rap tours in history. 3 of his works were included in Rolling Stone's 2020 revision of the 500 greatest albums of all time. And outside of that, he co founded the creative company PG Lang and ventured into film with his longtime creative partner Dave Free. I'm going to need y'all to stop saying that he wasn't big enough for that Super Bowl stage, because in what world do all those accolades dating back as far as 2012 not warrant him to be big enough for that stage? There have been, if you go down the list of artists who have performed on the NFL halftime show stage since 1993, when they first started having celebrities do the show. Michael Jackson was the first in 1993. Before that, it was marching bands. Since then, I want y'all to go look at that list of performers and tell me he doesn't actually have more accolades than some who've performed before that weren't as big as he is. Yeah. Anyway, now on to the actual halftime performance. As I said, folks who didn't like it just didn't like it. That's cool. You didn't have to. I really genuinely feel like most of the people who didn't either didn't get it, which means it wasn't for you, didn't get it and it was supposed to be for you, but you just hate that man. And that's okay. Again, stand 10 toes down in that. Just like he said in Euphoria, I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk, stand in that. You can just hate a person. It's okay. You can. If you don't like more in-depth music and consciousness and having to break down what is meant in the lyrics and it being for a purpose versus for a party, that's cool. That's perfectly okay, but just make sure you say that because otherwise it ain't even valid because we're not going to pretend like this wasn't a good show. Now, if you walked into it comparing it to previous things you've seen him do, such as a good friend of mine on my live said he wanted it to be like his Grammy performance was a few years back. That was a different time and that was for a different purpose. That was different. That was a whole different mindset. This was something else. So don't compare it to other performances of his because then, okay, even to me, this would be the number 2 performance that I've ever seen of his if I'm going off of that metric. But as a standalone performance, this was phenomenal. But that's also because I love symbolism and I love breaking things down. And I love when artists give a performance that is more than just, I'm going to sit here and entertain y'all and pacify y'all with party music. That's just me though. Maybe that's not everybody, and that's cool. All right, let's break down this performance a little bit. So, first, you have the Samuel L. Jackson playing Uncle Sam, a black Uncle Sam in white America. That says a lot just to start. And he starts with, "This is the great American game." And if you notice, the setup of the field was like a game console, okay? Because a lot of things in this country are a game. We are playing a game, and you have to know how to play to win. You got to know how to do certain things. For black people, that should mean something because in order for us to succeed, we got to know how to play this game. We have to know how to code switch. We have to know how to be in certain spaces. We can never just be unapologetically us because unapologetically us has never been acceptable. So we got to know how to play the game, right? So then you have his attire. The fact that this man was in flared jeans is just, it's a lot. Okay, it's a lot. Anyway, flared jeans, the A minor chain. I got some people saying the A stand for Aubrey. Y'all slow a little bit. It was a lowercase a. It literally probably stood for A minor, or it could have stood for Aubrey or Adonis. Who knows? But a lowercase a, I'm going to go with A minor. His jacket had a whole bunch of things going on. You can pull up a Google on that because I did. It had a whole bunch of different patches and things for the GNX tour coming up. And Compton, Gloria was written on it for the last track on GNX, which is a tribute to his writing and his pen. And there's a whole bunch of things. Anyway, his first song was GNX. I thought it was an unreleased track at first, but it was GNX. That wasn't a released track on the album. I need y'all to know too that y'all wanted this to be a particular type of show when that ain't Kendrick. He was himself. To be able to be on a stage that big and be unapologetically yourself is probably one of the most important things he could have done, whether you liked it or not. Now then, um, the dancers. So he had a classic GNX muscle car on the stage, which they gutted out because all them people that hopped out that car, they was coming from under the stage. But for me, it was a nod to it being like a clown car. You ever go to the circus and you see a clown car and all these clowns come out and you like, how did y'all all fit in there? That's kind of what I got from it. But the concept of it being a clown car also like said the game that goes back to the game that we play. Like a lot of people be clowning. And the other thing I love about this is he remains a lyricist first and foremost. And he's a griot type of lyricist. If you don't know what a griot is, Google is your friend. But he's a storyteller, basically. And he remains that. He starts a story and you have to follow it to understand. And if you don't want to do that, that's cool. He ain't for you. But he's not just this entertainer trying to make you dance. I think that's what y'all expected. Because halftime, Superbowl, I want to party. And Kendrick just did what Kendrick does. He said, "The revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy." Hmm. Yeah. Um, song number two. Song number two was "Squabble Up." It was interesting to me that the only dancers dancing behind him were women in red, which could represent a lot of things. Red represents bloodshed. Red represents a lot of things, right? But then Uncle Sam says, "No, no, no, too loud, too reckless, too ghetto. Mr. Lamar, do you really know how to play the game? Tighten up, because you're doing too much. You're doing too much if you want to be accepted by these people here in America, by white America, by some black folks. You're doing a lot if you want to be accepted. You gotta chill out." Then the dancers assembled into the American flag to go into the third song, which was "Humble." That was interesting to me. To assemble into the American flag, but a black man be at the center of it was very interesting to me. He is at the center of this flag, and you are doing "Humble." Then he went into DNA, which is super important. The DNA of blackness runs through this country, whether people like it or not. Okay? Our ancestors that got brought here on ships because they were stolen, they built this shit. So our DNA runs through it, whether people like it or not. Then he went into Euphoria, which I was excited because I love Euphoria. That's my favorite of the diss tracks that came out. Okay. So I'm excited that he did Euphoria. Okay. And in Euphoria, he says, "I make music that electrify him. You make music that pacify him." For a lot of y'all who didn't like the show, you like to be pacified. Party, pacify, same thing. And I like to party too. Don't get me wrong. I was in the club and in the streets at one point of time. But sometimes you got to want more than that. We are in a time right now where the climate in this country is such that we don't always need to be pacified. We need to know what the fuck is going on. Okay. Then, anyway, then he did "Man in the Garden" because I deserve it all. No matter what y'all think, I still deserve it all. Period, point blank. And it was interesting because there were black men hanging from street lights. And then there were black men in all white smiling under the street light behind him, kind of doing this doo-wop kind of thing behind him as he was doing the song. I found that interesting too. Then Uncle Sam says, "Oh, I see you brought your homeboys with you. The old culture cheat code. Scorekeeper, deduct one life." Did y'all hear those words that he said? Because he brought his people with him. Deduct a life. Take one out. Hmm. Then he plays Peekaboo, which I like that song. I like Peekaboo on GNX. But then he says, "Hey, ladies, I want to make a move. I want to perform their favorite song, but you know they love to sue." I didn't hear that the first time. I think I blacked out because I was too excited. So when I went back and watched it, I was like, "Not," he said, "I want to perform the song, but you know they love to sue." And then he teased, "Not like us." And he said, "Yeah, that song. Maybe I'll think about it. Know what? I'll slow it down." And then Uncle Sam says, "Oh, you done lost your damn mind." Because he teased the song. But then out comes SZA for Luther. Listen, SZA looks good, okay? Thicker than a bowl of grits. Thicker than some cold peanut butter. She looked good and she sounded good. I don't care if she was lip singing, that was still her vocals that she recorded and she sounded good. So, because some people was like, she was lip singing. Look, I don't give a damn. She sounded amazing, okay? She sounded amazing. And oftentimes SZA be singing in cursive, but I understood every word and she sounded amazing. Anyway, from there, he goes into All the Stars, which, if you notice, a lot of people like that part of the performance because All the Stars is one is connected to Black Panther, and it's just one of those songs, it's one of the hits. Now, every song he played is one of his hits, though, which boggles my mind that people were like, he didn't play any of the hits. He played all songs that were hits. What? And then it was people that was like, he made the whole show about Drake. In what world? In what world was the whole show about Drake? I don't understand that at all. That tells me that y'all really didn't understand anything about the blackness and authenticity of this show. But anyway, what was great to me is that the particular part of All the Stars that he rapped is the part where he says, "Fuck you and all your expectations. I don't even want your congratulations." Because y'all expected. I don't know what y'all expected, but you got Kendrick authentically. He don't care what you expected. Like, okay, you ain't gotta like it, and I'm still here. And then Uncle Sam comes back on and says, "That's what I'm talking about. That's what America wants. Nice and calm. You almost there. Don't mess this up." And then they tease not like us again. So see, Uncle Sam is saying, give America what they want, Kendrick. Don't do all of this other stuff. Don't be too reckless and ghetto. Just be nice and calm and play your nice tracks that everybody like, that we can dance to or that we can just vibe to. Don't do too much. Don't be too conscious. Don't put these deep messages out there. Don't nobody want to hear all of that. Just be nice and calm. Then Kendrick says, it's a cultural divide. 40 Acres and a Mule. This is bigger than music. They tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. Y'all gotta listen to the things that he was actually saying in between. Then finally he goes into Not Like Us, which we didn't know if he was gonna play. I knew he would. Like, the NFL didn't tell him he couldn't play it. This whole lawsuit thing is BS anyway. Like, I knew he was gonna play it, and I'm glad he did. And what was the best thing was when he got to say Drake and smiled dead into the camera like the diabolical boogeyman that he is. hmm And then also when a second audience started screaming A minor. This is the second audience because the Grammys did it multiple times. And now the entire NFL audience was screaming A minor. They could not wait. He could have done the instrumental of that song and the audience would have sang every word. hmm Highlighting point. Serena Williams crip walking. Because why the diabolicalness of having two of Drake's exes on that stage with you, SZA and Serena. Mm, mm, mm. Then, of course, song 11 was TV off, and he brought out DJ Mustard. That's another one people couldn't wait for just to scream Mustard, which is cool. But also, turn his TV off. And if you didn't like it, you could have turned your TV off. But y'all hate watched. And a hate watch is still a view. But then at the end of that, he smiles into the camera, and then you see game over. That's it. Game over. It doesn't matter what y'all think. He performed. He got the spot. He did what he needed to do. He remained authentic to who he was. And it was some black shit. And everybody didn't understand or like it. And that's fine too. But it was so symbolic. And it was so for and of the culture. And that's all that really mattered to me. All right, y'all. If y'all did not watch it, you can go find it on YouTube and rewatch. I loved it. All the people I talked to loved it. I saw some valid critiques, but then I saw some shit that was just like, y'all hate this man, and that's okay. But anyway, y'all have a good night. I will holler at y'all later.